I want to talk about something that sounds simple, but it's actually really difficult, and that's emotional honesty. Not honesty with other people, but honesty with ourselves. Because a lot of us can be honest outwardly. We can tell people how we feel, we can communicate, we can express. But when it comes to sitting with ourselves, that's when things get a little different. We avoid it. We distract ourselves. We tell ourselves we're fine, even when we're not. And I've had to learn this myself. There have been moments where I've told myself I was okay, just to keep moving, just to stay productive, just to not have to sit in what I was actually feeling. But what I realized is when you're not emotionally honest with yourself, you don't actually move forward. You just move around what you're feeling. And that's a big difference. Because B number one is not about pretending everything is good. It's not about always being strong. It's not about having everything figured out. B number one is about becoming the best versions of ourselves. And you can't become that version if you're not being real with where you are right now. Emotional honesty is where that starts. It's being able to sit with yourself and say, this is how I actually feel. Not how you think you should feel. Not how other people expect you to feel, but what's real. And sometimes that truth is uncomfortable. Sometimes it's, I'm overwhelmed. I'm frustrated. I'm not as confident as I so made it seem. I'm still healing from something I thought I was over. And that's okay. Because the moment you tell yourself the truth, you give yourself the opportunity to grow from it. But if you keep avoiding it, you stay in the same place just with different distractions. That's why emotional honesty takes courage. It's not loud, it's not something people always see, but it's one of those most important forms of strength. And this is exactly where the B number one journal comes in. Because writing forces you to slow down. It removes the distractions. It removes the performance, quote unquote. It removes the pressure to look a certain way. And it gives you space to ask yourself real questions, not surface level, but real ones. For example, like, what am I actually feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? What have I been avoiding? What do I need in this moment? And when you start answering those, right, honestly, you start understanding yourself on a deeper level. And once you understand yourself, you can actually start leading yourself. And that's what B number one is about. It's not just growth on the outside, it's growth on the inside first. Because how you talk to yourself, how you process your emotions, how you respond to pressure, that's what shapes everything else in your life. Your decisions, your relationships, your confidence, your direction. And emotional honesty sits at the center of all of that. I've learned that ignoring your emotions doesn't make you stronger. It just delays what you eventually have to face. But being honest with yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, that's what builds real strength. That's what builds self trust. Because now you're not running from yourself anymore. You're actually standing with yourself. And that changes everything. So, if you take anything from this, let it be this: you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to always feel positive. You don't have to always be strong. But you do owe yourself honesty. Because that honesty is where your growth starts. That honesty is where your clarity comes from. And that honesty is what helps you be number one for you. And if you don't know where to start simple. Take a moment today during our weekly reflection, whether it's in your journal or just in your thoughts, and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? And whatever the answer is, let it be true and real to you. Because that's where everything begins. And with that being said, be number one. Peace.